Let's talk about the 25 books I want to read in 2025. For this video and for my reading plans for the new year, I kind of decided to go with 5 categories of 5. So on this list are 5 sequels, 5 new releases, 5 anticipated releases, 5 special editions, and 5 out of my comfort zone. Some of these categories mirror goals I have for the upcoming year. I also do want to shout out that if you're looking to make a 25 in 2025 list, my friend Bris has an amazing bingo board that you could check out as well, and I'm gonna leave that down below. I personally didn't end up doing it, but I would love to tell other people to do it, because if you didn't know about it and you were looking for something like that, now you know about it. Let's get into the first category, and I'm just going down my list of what I wrote out, and the first one I have is the out of my comfort zone category. This one is kind of scary. The first book on this list is Wild Love by Elsie Silver. 2 of my friends read this year, Lexi and Mel, and they both loved it, and a lot of people I talk to on the regular love Elsie Silver. She's an author from my province, so I'd also love to support that. Like, the Chestnut Springs are literally set in Alberta, and I'm from Alberta. This is definitely out of my comfort zone, and it's kind of scary. I don't really read a lot of contemporary romance. Actually, I don't know the last time I picked up a contemporary romance, but I have it from some pretty good sources that this is fun and the banter is good, and I think I really could like this. And when I think about like billionaire romance, that could really work for me, and I know that that's what this is. I think that will work for me more than the cowboy romance, but I'm not sure because I've never tried cowboy romance. But like, when I think about the Broken Bond series, the series by J. Bris, I loved North, and North is a billionaire, and I kind of liked that element about him. So I do think that the billionaire romance part of this could work for me. So although it's out of my comfort zone, this is definitely like something I'm very, very excited about. All of these are things that I'm nervous about because they're different for me, but things that I'm really, really interested in trying. Next up on my list is Butcher and Blackbird. I have a special edition from Bookish Box. I guess this could have gone in special edition too, but it really fits this out of my comfort zone because, as I said in the last book, I don't know the last time I picked up contemporary romance. Honestly, probably when I read the Saints duology, The There Are No Saints by Sophie Lark, is probably the last time I picked something like this up, and I gave that book 5 stars. I gave the sequel 1 star. We don't talk about it, but I did like the serial killer vibes of that quite a bit. Since then, I've just never felt a pull to pick up anything else, so I think that's why this still scares me, and contemporary romance still is very scary for me. I have picked up a few. I guess I did pick up a few of, I think it's Tessa Bailey's. I have read a few of hers over the years. It's just something, I don't know, there's something that I'm just not sure will work for me in contemporary romance, but it has in the past. I think I just need to be very picky about what I pick up, but I'm hoping, because everybody and their moms loved this book, so I'm hoping that this one will really work for me. I just know it's a serial killer and it's a lot of fun. It's a bond between rivals, and they find something elusive, the friendship of 2 like-minded pitch black souls who just happen to enjoy killing other serial killers. It sounds fun. I think there's something about ice cream in this book, and I'm prepared to lose my mind over it. Next up, we have one that maybe isn't as much out of my comfort zone, but it's Wake Up and Open Your Eyes by Clay McCoy Chapman. A part of me was like, am I going to read this book? Because Ghost Eaters by the same author was a 5-star read for me, but since then I've read 2 of his other books, and I didn't like either of the other books. And when I read the synopsis for Wake Up and Open Your Eyes, I'm not sure it's gonna be for me. I think Ghost Eaters might have been a one-off for me, and so I'm kind of nervous to try this one. So I'm putting it in out of your comfort zone just because I am nervous about it, and I'm gonna try it before I see reviews, because if reviews come in and people don't like it, I don't think I would try it. So I'm gonna try and read it like as soon as it comes out next year. This is a post-apocalyptic, very political horror, and I think it's gonna be slow. I think it's gonna be weird, and I'm hoping it makes me feel some things, especially with everything going on in the world currently. I think the message that it could say could be very well done. So I'm hoping I like it, but I'm definitely very nervous to pick this book up. A similar vein, we have Cold Eternity by S.A. Barnes on my out of my comfort zone list. I haven't liked either book I've read from her, so I don't know why I keep picking them up. It just seems to be a thing where like the concept sounds so cool that they just make me want to read them, and then I don't really like them. I feel like they've both been 3 stars. They've just been like mid-okay books, but there's something about this one that just like, I'm like, what if this is the one? I think that if I don't like this one, I won't stop reading their books. I can't bring myself to do it again and again and again. But this one is still getting me. It's a sci-fi thriller. We follow our main character character who's on the run, and she heads to probably what she thinks is the safest place, which is a giant spaceship full of people that are in Cairo sleep. It is frozen bodies of Earth's most wealthiest citizens fill the ship. But the ship and its Cairo program are long defunct, but Haley starts to think she sees figures crawling in the hallways, and there's a constant scraping, slithering, and rattling echoing in the vents. It's not long before Haley realizes she may have gotten herself trapped in an even more dangerous situation than the one she was running from. Listen, that sounds interesting and creepy, and I'm hoping it just gives me the creepy vibes a sci-fi thriller truly can give me. And lastly, on my out of my comfort zone, I have Angel's Blood by Nalini Singh. This is a paranormal romance, and although I am a fantasy romance lover, I have not dabbled into paranormal romance, and until this year I've actually said that I'm anti-paranormal romance, but I'm at a place now in my life that I'm interested in trying them, and I'm excited to try them. And Tori and Bae both screamed about this book this year, and has made me want to do it. I also think Erin from Booked and Busy also liked this one. This one follows a vampire hunter who is the best at her job. She's been tasked with an impossible job, but there is one thing that is clear. Failure is not an option when your job is handed to you by an archangel so powerful that, like, you're scared of him. The job will put her into the midst of a killing spree and put her on the brink of passion that she didn't know existed. Very excited to try this one. Very, very nervous. We're gonna see if paranormal is a thing that I like this year. That's definitely something I'm going to be dabbling in a lot. And this one just felt perfect to put on my 25 and 2025 because a lot of people I trust did love it. So hopefully me too. Our next category is new releases. The first one on this list is The Ember and Ashes, which is the sequel series to the Blood and Steel series by Helen Schuer. This follows two characters that we know and we love in the Blood and Steel series as they get their own romantasy spin-off and journey. I finished the Blood and Steel series this year and I really enjoyed it. I really like Helen Schuer's writing, and I'm hoping that this sequel series will be even better for me. It is a little bit of reluctant allies to lovers, I feel like, and I'm just very excited. I like both of the characters and I liked the scenes we got of them together. We definitely see their romance in the first book. When the author announced there was a sequel series coming about someone that we've already known, we were all pretty sure it was going to be this couple, and then it was announced it was this couple. So like, I definitely like them in the series, and I'm excited to see what their story means and what their journey means. That's really all I know about this and all I want to know about it. Next we have When the Wolf Comes Home by Nat Cassidy, which is another horror, and I know literally nothing about this one and don't really plan on looking up a lot about this one. Nat Cassidy is a new favorite author of mine. I gave Nestlings 5 stars and I gave Mary 4 stars, I think. I really liked them, and I continue to really like Nat Cassidy every time I pick them up. So I'm excited to see what this book has in store for me and what weird things Nat Cassidy can come up with. His brain is definitely very interesting. I'd love to just like be a fly on the wall. The new releases, I'm sorry, I really don't know a lot about. The next one is The Night and the Moth, which is the next book by Rachel Gillig. This is not part of the One Dark Window series at all. It's not attached to that as far as I know. It's just a brand new series from her. I liked One Dark Window and I liked the vibes it gave, so I'm excited to see if she can do it again in The Night and the Moth. Next on the list we have Sunrise on the Reaping, which I think a lot of us are going to be very excited to read next year. This is the next prequel in the Hunger Games. Very, very, very excited to see what this one is for us and what this brings. I, like a lot of us, am a big Hunger Games fan. I loved the Hunger Games. I read them growing up. I personally didn't love the last prequel book that much. It was okay, but not amazing, but I did really like the movie. This one is Haymitch's story, and I personally love Haymitch. He's actually probably my favorite character from the movies and the books. I don't know, there's something about him that I always wanted to know more about him. Although, like the rest of the world, I was hoping for Finnick's story. I'm actually not mad that we're getting Haymitch's, and I think since Haymitch is such a big part, it really does make sense that we get to understand his character a lot more. I'm very, very excited to see what this means. I'm very, very excited for this one. And next up, I have Terror at the Gates by Scarlett Sinclair. I have read a Scarlett Sinclair before, and I did enjoy it, but I am waiting for her series to be like my absolute favorite. I know it's in there. I know that she is a writer that I could really, really love. Like, I could give 5 stars to a book she writes because I enjoy her writing, but that hasn't happened for me yet. So I'm hoping Terror at the Gates is that way. This is a feminist retelling of Lilith's story. Lilith will rise from the ashes of her former life to destroy the ancient power that stole everything she loves. She is the beginning and the end. She is peace and chaos. She is terror knocking at the gates. Estranged from her powerful family, Lilith Leviathan finds a refuge in Nineveh, a district in the city of Eden devoted to sin. There she uses her magic to steal for a living, attracting the attention of the 5 governing families as well as the church, which expects women to remain pious and silent. When Lilith comes into possession of a beautiful blade, she thinks all her worries are over until her usual buyer dies while inspecting it. Frantic, Lilith turns to the only man who can help her, Zerarev, head of Zereth family and ruler of Nineveh. His currency is information and his power is extortion. Though he's always had a soft spot for Lilith, and when the dagger appears, he isn't sure he can protect her from what's to come. Together they embark on a mission to discover the true power running their world. As their lives intertwine, Lilith realizes Zerarev is more than just a friend, but their devotion to each other is a threat to the truth, to the church, and to those who want to tear it all down. I don't normally like to read the synopsis out loud, but I feel like I had to on that one. I'm hoping all of us are excited about it. Next up, we have sequels. I feel like this is something I'm just like actively really trying to read next year is sequels. So this list is probably not surprising to any of you, but I'm excited for all 5 of these. I could have put so many sequels on. It was very hard to narrow it down to 5. I could have done 25 sequels I want to read. Let's start with the first, the most obvious one. Onyx Storm. Onyx Storm. I can't believe we get the 3rd book in this series. Oh my god. I remember just like staying up all night to read Fourth Wing. And I mean, I pretty much stayed up all night to read Iron Flame 2. And Onyx Storm, I think, is going to break me. I'm hoping it's just as good as the first one because I know we had complaints about the second one. I still give it 4 stars. I still really enjoyed it. But I get the complaints. But I'm hoping Onyx Storm is out of the park so good. I'm really, really hoping. And I cannot wait for this 3rd book and to figure out what is happening to my little babies. I also put the next Ruthless Boys of the Zodiac on here. I feel like I've put this on a couple lists this year, but I'm very, very excited to continue on in my Why Choose journey, and this is one that I'm very, very much excited about. This is in the same world as Zodiac, but it's actually a prequel series, and we're following our main character as she goes to a school to figure out what happened to her brother and who murdered him, and she ends up being attached to some of the powerful house leaders at the school through her time there, and it's silly, goofy, good time, but it's a lot of fun, and I cannot wait to continue this series. So book 2 or book 3, whatever book I'm on is going onto this list, because I'm hoping to read that entire series next year. Okay, my next sequel has not actually been announced yet, but I'll be shocked if we don't get it, which is the next book by Carissa Broadbent, the next book in the Songbird and the Heart of Stone series, the 4th book in the Crowns of Nyaxia series. We got book 1 this year, and I just would be very shocked if we didn't get book 2 next year, and although I didn't love Songbird, I'm very excited for the sequel because if Carissa's writing is anything to tell me is that the 2nd book is better than the 1st book. Like, I loved Ashes more than I liked Serpent. I know some people don't agree with me, but I think having Rain's POV in Ashes was incredible. And because of the mirrorisms between Serpent and Songbird, I do think we're gonna get his POV in the 2nd Songbird book, and I'm very excited to get to that. And I'm just like excited. It is a series I want to keep reading as it comes out so I don't fall behind. So yeah, I'm very excited. We don't have a title. We have nothing, but the next book by Carissa Broadbent, that's what I'm excited for. Next up, we have Rebel Witch by Kristen Cicerelli. Heartless Hunter is incredible. I give it 4 stars, but looking back, I'm pretty sure it's a 5-star. I don't know what was wrong with me. I need to be less analytical next year. Even though I did try that this year, I'm just like slowly getting rid of my critical analytical self and understanding that reading is fun. And so I'm very, very excited for the 2nd book. I think it's a trilogy. I'm very excited to see what this means for my characters. I just had so much fun in Heartless Hunter. I read it in one sitting. It was fun, and I've been thinking about it. It's a story that I truly have thought about time and time again throughout the year. So I cannot wait for our next installment and just what Kristen Cicerelli is going to bring to us. I feel like it's going to be heartbreak if 2nd books are anything to go by, and I'm not ready for it, but I'm also really ready for it. And lastly, Fearless by Lauren Roberts, the last book in the Powerless trilogy. I'm very excited about, although I did not like Reckless. Powerless is one of my favorite YA stories. I had so much fun with that one, and Reckless was a letdown, but I'm hoping Fearless knocks it out of the park again, and that I love it, and it's a 5-star read for me. I'm very excited to see the ending of Pei and Kai's story, and I'm excited about what the last book set up. I think the last book was very much middle book syndrome for me, so I'm very much expecting to love this final book. So I'm definitely still excited for it. Moving on to special editions. This is something that I will talk about in my goals, but this was definitely a very important category for me this year. The first one going on this list is The Half King by Melissa Landers. I was really, really excited to read this one. This is the Fairy Loot Romantasy. I believe I have every single book box that I need in this list, and I think that I was very much really excited to read this. I thought it was gonna be a 5-star prediction, and then Mel from Eleanor Reads read it, and I don't think it's a 5-star prediction anymore, but I still want to try it. I still want to give it a go, and I feel like if I don't prioritize it next year, it's just gonna sit on my shelf, and I'm eventually gonna haul it one day without reading. So I would really like to get to this. The ideas in this really sound good. The idea of a prince turning into shadows at night sounds really interesting to me. Like, I mean, I love a shadow daddy like the rest of us, so I do really want to give this one a go. I really probably should cancel my Evernight subscription, but I do want to read this one first, just in case. An Academy for Liars by Alexis Henderson. I have read from this author before and I didn't really like it, but I have heard mixed reviews about this, but good ones from people I trust, so I'm hoping that I still like it. I've heard that this is more fantastical than horror, and that kind of sucks because Evernight is a horror box. However, I don't think I'm really interested in a lot of their picks, so this one was more up my alley than a lot of the picks I really need to cancel. But I really want to read some of them to make sure I don't like them before I cancel, hence my problem in life and why I keep wasting my money, so I need to prioritize reading them. But this one is very pretty. I really like this edition. I really hope I like this, so hopefully I will read it next year. Next up, I have Into the Woods by Ivy Asher, which is by Arcane. I actually don't have this edition yet. It's on its way to me currently. This is a Why Choose Red Riding Hood retelling. I am nervous to try Ivy Asher, but I'm also excited, and Arcane is my favorite book box so far. I think that they do the most stunning editions. I mean, Arcane and Fairy Loot are pretty on par for me. I think that their editions are always really good and always really pretty, and there tend to be books I'm excited about, or at least that I've heard a lot about. Even ones I'm skipping, I've heard a lot about them, so I feel like they are going to be good picks and a lot of people are going to be happy about them. I've heard good reviews. Sometimes they're just not for me. Arcane, I think, is really, really good. Their quality is really, really stunning. I really don't know much about this one, but I want to get to it. Then I have Shades of Silver City, which I also don't have yet. This is by Fabled, another book box I have. This is a dark romantasy that kind of gives me Gotham vibes. I will say the one thing about Fabled is a lot of the picks are very underrated. Sometimes they have very little ratings, which makes it really hard for me to pick the book sometimes because I wish they had more ratings so I could decide if they're well liked or not. But it is fun to have something that is so different than other subscription boxes, which is something I really like. Imagine if Gotham City had fairies, the Grim Reaper, Robin Hood, and romance. Tassia Foster lives in Silver City, a fae-free human haven where magic is banned. She's undoubtedly human and unquestionably depressed. Thanks to her late phaeologist father, she also possesses an irritating ability to see soul shades, which she tries her best to ignore. When Tassie encounters Archer, a powerful vigilante gang leader with his own mysterious abilities, her complacency is challenged. Archer knows Tassia is a soul seer. He offers to keep her secret in exchange for her help, solving a string of mysterious deaths in the city. Reluctantly, she agrees to help, and soon the two are battling a budding attraction amidst the mayhem. Tassia must decide whether saving the city is worth uncovering harsh truths about her past, accepting Archer's secrets, and surrendering in her romantic feelings despite her inclination to settle back into her safe, albeit lackluster life. For fans of C.N. Crawford and Raven Kennedy, Shades of Silver City is a new adult urban fantasy with romance and mystery suitable for mature audiences only. Doesn't that sound good? Gotham with fairies? Listen, I'm a Batman stan, so like count me in. And lastly, I have I Deal with the Demon. This one is not part of a book subscription box. It's just a special edition that I have purchased. And that's another thing that I tend to do is buy special editions. So that also needs to be read. They cannot just sit on my shelf. If I'm spending money on them, I really want to be reading them. A Deal with the Demon is by Stasia Stark, who is the author of A Court This Cruel and Lovely, which is a series I binged this year and really enjoyed. I had a really fun time with it. I have not continued. I don't know a lot about A Deal with the Demon. Just knew it was by that author and decided to give it a go. So yeah, I'm not the best with my money. And our last category is just anticipated reads. 5 that I'm very excited to get to in the new year. First up, we have City of Gods and Monsters. This is an urban fantasy that I don't know a single thing about besides that all the romantasy girls, all the TikTok girls are loving it, giving 5 stars, binging the series, saying it's the next big romantasy, and I want to read it, especially because I have learned that I am in an urban fantasy mood these days. I have been enjoying urban fantasy, which is something I didn't think I would enjoy. When you open your mind to things, sometimes they can shock you. Next up, we have Reign of Shadow and Endings by Melissa K. Rowick, another book that all the romantasy girlies have been screaming about. I did read Lady of Darkness by this author, and I didn't really like it, but I've heard this one is better. I've heard it's darker, and so I'm very excited to still try it, and I've been holding out on this because I think it's going to be on some booktuber favorites that I can read in January, so I've definitely been holding out on reading this year, but next year, in the new year, is my time to shine. It's my time to maybe be a Melissa K. Rowick fangirl because I would like to be, because all of my friends are, and there's some really pretty editions of all her books coming out. I hope I love this the way everyone else loves it. I don't know much about this, truthfully. I'm going into my books pretty blind next year. Hype has gotten me. Next up, we have A Game of Veils, which is a Why Choose by Eva Chase. I've been talking about Eva Chase a lot on my channel lately. She's become an auto-buy author for me. She writes a lot of Why Choose stories, and I have been really enjoying them. I find her writing style very easy and bingeable to read. This is The Bachelor meets The Hunger Games. How does that comp title not get you? We follow our main character who is married off, and when she gets there, she has to fight in some trials in order to show her new husband how much she loves him. And when she's in the trial, because she doesn't want to be there, she doesn't want to marry this guy, she looks for some people to help her and to, you know, get her out of the situation. And what better than the enemy of your enemy? So although these men that she partners with are not very nice and they've been kind of mean to her, she realizes that if they don't like her husband, they're the best people to partner with. Rest Stop by Nat Cassidy is next on this list. Again, another Nat Cassidy. He is the only author I think that I put on here twice. I'm very, very excited for this one. It's just a short little novella and it happens at a gas station. And I believe Mel said it's a little slashery, a little campy. I'm very excited. As I said, I've really enjoyed Nat Cassidy in the past, so I just think I will continue to enjoy his stuff. And I'm very excited to dive into this one. And then we have Air by Sabaa Tahir. The Ember and the Ashes Quartet is one of my favorite YA series. I love that. I read as an adult. I still really enjoyed it. It's amazing. Sabaa Tahir knows how to put you in your feelings and to make you hurt. And Air is set within the same world. It's just in the future. I believe we have crossover characters in it that I'm very excited about. Maybe I need to do a reread of the Ember and the Ashes Quartet, even though I don't reread very often. I really don't know much going into this, but I just know that Sabaa Tahir is going to put me through some emotional turmoil in this series, and I'm very, very excited for that. What is wrong with me when I just want to cry and hurt, but also be obsessed and happy with all my characters? I want to feel all the emotions with them, and Sabaa Tahir really, really knows how to do that, so I'm very, very excited for this one. I can't believe I haven't read it yet. Just too many books, so little time. And if you want to know more of the books that I'm planning on reading next year, here is my Kindle bingo, which is also something I'm trying to accomplish in the next year. I would love to know any of the books you're excited to read in the next year, if you're doing a 25 in 2025 or something like that. And if you made it all the way to the end of this video and you just like to leave me an emoji to say you were here, leave me a snake emoji because I believe 2025 is the year of the snake. And have yourselves an absolutely remarkable day.